Welcome to this week's technical difficulties. Let's see, what's up? We're already having some technical difficulties here. Sorry about that, folks. The mic's back. Oh, yeah. There we go, and we're back. Welcome to our broadcast tonight. We are coming at you somewhere from Germany.
Munich, to be precise.
Let me just take off my FFP2 mask here. There's no COVID. Once you're sitting down, COVID sits too.
Right. Yeah, right.
Who do we have with us tonight? See some comments stacking up. League Blank Nielsen, Ron Areen, Make and Modify. Max, how you doing?
Hey. Guten Abend, der Herr.
What's everyone got going tonight? Let's hear from everyone in the chat. Hey, we got Lydia with us.
Hey, what's up?
I don't think we have any audio. I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
This is the monitoring. What?
I don't have any monitoring or any audio at all.
Huh.
Oh,
Then you might just turn the microphone on your the headphones on your.
the connection was unplugged. Hey, we're having a lot of technical difficulties tonight. In case you haven't noticed, I need to.
Oh, yeah, I just have to change the audio device.
Excellent.
Now we're hearing things.
Wow, Lydia has dissolved even more than usual. You are slowly
She's dissolving
becoming
into cyberspace.
Yeah, you're just becoming a computer now.
That's always been my dream.
Always been the goal. We need to close a few extra windows here. Kill some bandwidth. Can I close all these?
Yeah, you can close
Okay.
this.
There we go. Conserve bandwidth. How are you doing tonight, Lydia?
Not so bad. How you doing?
Not bad at all. Kind of jealous though of this. What you have going there with the blue screen.
OBS is awesome.
Yeah, we have OBS going. Why don't we have some?
Should we?
Why don't we just dive straight into the Matrix and have a party?
Perfect.
Maybe
I heard the crack of a beer.
That's right.
Was that a Miller Lite?
No, thank God. It is sadly a light beer, though.
Oh, Bud Light.
Not Bud Light, no. No, it's a Blue Moon Light Sky.
I didn't know that they made Blue Moon in a light beer. I thought it was already a light beer.
No, those wheat beers are actually pretty heavy. I mean, Blue Moon is probably one of the lightest wheat beers that I know of, but...
So we've already had like more technical difficulties than ever before. So we might as well just start drinking now. Like you were well past that point. We barely got on stream. We had a insect that was the size of a baseball attack us earlier. Not exaggerating.
Some kind of
Um,
German insect.
And we had the cable blowing up. Where we almost
And Luigi
destroyed.
almost destroyed his apartment, catching it on fire by pumping like 120 amps at 26 volts through a very small wire. The entire
I
wire
shorted a
melted.
LiPo battery.
Like, I don't know if you'll be able to see this on screen. Let's see if we can hold this up for the camera. I could see the camera. This wire should be smooth, not all like crinkly and wrinkled with like pieces of copper showing through. The entire thing just arced and glowed orange for a brief flash.
I've never had that happen yet, but will eventually.
Well, it's not often that you have a lithium pack sitting around with that much juice on it. This was for the Pine Sail soldering iron, a cable adapter to plug it into pretty much any lithium pack you have for flying drones. And yeah, I had a couple exposed terminals on it, hadn't wrapped it yet. So that's what happens. I can't see what's going on.
True. Yeah.
There we go.
That's
nice. We're entering the matrix here.
Yeah, he's thinking about getting another Radler. Yeah, he tried one yesterday.
Oh, the Sprite beer?
Yeah, the Sprite beer.
Yeah, you know what? It tasted good at first, but the more I drank it, the more I just felt like I was drinking way too much carbonation and not enough alcohol.
The thing to do with those carbonated, like tonic drinks, is to use them as a mixer with hard liquor.
Just bring my own shot of liquor to throw in the liter of that I got. We were over at the beer garden and got a liter of that Sprite beer, and it's just like drank that whole thing, barely felt it. Definitely not quite what I was expecting.
Max, you kind of have to. Is Schlapseppel like some Kölsch thing? Because I have never heard of that one. Yeah, also Radler is like for the guy who has to drive, but he does not want to get drunk, so because he has to drive, he cannot get drunk.
See, now that's a very German thing, because if you have to drive, you can't drink any alcohol in the States.
I mean, you shouldn't here either. But the Radler is the thing.
It's the slightly more responsible beer to drink.
Yeah.
You couldn't just have a small beer. You just have a less alcoholic, very tall beer.
It's impossible to have just a little bit of beer. It's way better to have a lot of low alcohol beer, because then you'll try to drink a lot of alcohol, but you won't be able to drink it fast enough.
I mean, you still end up drinking a lot of alcohol, but
So
a lot of beer, but not
Lydia, a
alcohol.
question for you on your audio. Do you have an effect applied, or is it just bad today?
Does my audio suck? Hold on.
It's pretty crackly. It might be driving the viewers away, all 6 of them.
Hold on. Let me see what I can do about this.
Are we having a technical difficulty?
Yes.
Get the gin.
Oh, I gotta get the gin. Pardon me.
I lost my good lavalier. It was needed for other things, so now I have garbage
Those
mic.
watching at home, drink along. This is not a sing along. This is a drink along.
I drink along. So that's nice.
You got a glass?
Yeah, glasses are upright. And this one. No. The right one. Yep. Kind of navigating through my kitchen to get a glass for the gin.
Did the screen just die again?
No, I just changed it again to have 2 screens and it just...
Good call. Then we can pull up Discord too and see what else is going on with everybody.
We actually on yet?
I can hear now.
Great.
So when I'm done with this stream here, I'll be heading off to the airport for some very, very long flights with many connections.
I think like living in airports for like a
day and a half. Yeah, it's not hard getting out here, but they sure don't want you to leave. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Clink.
The gin is Finsbury, which you cannot see probably, but it's actually quite terrible.
Yeah, you asked for the cheapest one. What
I
do you
did.
expect?
Well, the cheapest one in a country that's known for having good gin, so.
I think I'm a put iced tea in this.
Oh. I think I need some of that ginger beer for this one.
Yeah, we'll get you one. Also, the iced tea is about to freeze, so this is a good timing.
So, yeah, I've been over here with Player 2 for a few days. We've just been fucking around, blowing stuff up, wires and things on accident.
FPV drone flying.
Walking around wearing gas masks because, COVID.
There you go.
Player 2 got to fly a drone a few times. He did not hit anybody. He almost hit some people, but he didn't.
But they took it with humor, except for this one guy did not hit.
Yeah, the one guy that we didn't run into comes over and is like, I feel scared seeing the scene fly over me. Could you please stop flying over me? It's like, nah, bro, I didn't fly over you. We're good.
We watched the footage afterwards, and
we did not
We did
actually
not.
fly over him. It was funny, though, and we just continued flying.
then they left.
And they left, as they should, if they are scared to be 100 feet away from a tiny little toy. I mean, I wasn't flying like the big one over them,
It's incredibly lightweight plastic. Look out.
Yeah, the 3-inch, right?
Yeah.
No, it was the big one.
No, the 4-inch, they're both tiny. That's my point. I didn't bring the 5-inch. It's not like the freaking death machine flying over them. It's just the little one, And I didn't fly over them anyway. There's always a complainer in the room, You're in a big park, a couple miles long, or 3 kilometers, and you could just move if you're really that worried about it. You could just move. But what can you do? Every country, there's always a Karen.
And sometimes it's their male.
It's the German version of Karen.
A Ken? Yeah, pretty good times. Got some good flights in. Got to see the city from the top and the bottom.
Germany's definitely a country I want to visit.
Me too. Oh, Raul's trying to get himself banned tonight.
Yo.
They seem to love the Americans over here. They're staring and laughing. Yeah, Max. Let's drop you a link. Same invite that we sent over into the mods.
Drop the link in the lounge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Should
Anyone watching want to join in? Come join in. We're friendly. We can't bite. It's all virtual,
I just bet the link to the actual stream.
That is.
Most people know that it's happening.
We could do that too. That is in the stream links. All right, here. Give me.
Yep.
Give me it slow.
Never used this shit.
All right. So this one, we need this for Max. Yes, join us. I don't know what your paste is. This computer's in German. It's very frustrating.
We still have Control V and Z.
Is it in the same place still? Because your
Yeah.
Y isn't.
Yeah, it's just Y and Z swapped out, but that's it. And we have the
Place still? Because you're. All good.
Yeah.
All right. And for the. Where's the.
Discord.
Can't see over there. Need one of those wide curved screens, yeah?
How are those? Any good?
Yeah, just pasted it in there. I mean, I think they look amazing.
They look amazing, but they're not worth the price they cost over here.
Hey, Max, welcome.
Good evening.
Guten Tag.
Hey, Max.
This
we're
is Schlappiseppel.
We're finally on
Oh,
the same
never
time
seen
zone for a change.
Yeah. I hoped you would start a bit earlier if you're in the same time zone, but yeah.
No, we got to keep the tradition. Make it late as fuck over here.
Yeah.
We've already been streaming for 30 minutes, right? We won't get demonetized.
Not really.
Only 16. Damn, Google's gonna take my money.
I thought it was the first 30 seconds before you could swear.
Oh well, in that case,
I guess I also need a moving background.
right?
There we go.
Yeah. Autopilot.
Ron mentions the widescreens have a problem, but that's only for using Windows. Everyone on Linux, there's no issue snapping screens to, the windows can stack next to each other without any problems. Were you, Max, looks like you're flying through I don't know, you fighting COVID right now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. That's a background from people.
Sounds like a losing battle.
Oh, from people.
Yeah.
Like some NFT.
Yeah, it's on his YouTube channel for free for meetings as a background.
It's nice.
That's awesome. I love his work. It's like, I mean, it just keeps getting weirder. Like, I don't know what the stopping point is, but like doing that like year of a design every single day was just crazy.
Yeah.
And you could see like how much better everything got over time.
Yeah.
And what was it, 69 million he sold his NFT for?
Yeah, crazy. Now everyone knows him.
Pretty much.
And everyone knows NFTs.
Got a question from the audience here. Is a BL Touch worth investing in? Yeah, of course.
I recently got one.
You can
I kind of recommend it.
You can probe the bed and get near perfect bed level, even if your bed is garbage and completely
Not
unlevel. You do like it's not true level, all right? So this isn't like Rick and Morty true level, but you're able to do a active mesh fix so that the nozzle is always at the correct level, and the first layer of your print is always kind of just a sacrificial layer anyway. So yeah, definitely recommend it. You don't have to deal with having prints not stick anymore or digging the nozzle into the print bed when you have the adjustment set correctly.
Yeah. I have the Arasaka logo imprinted on my bed now.
Permanent. It's part of his textured bed now. It's a feature, not a defect.
Yeah.
What's a BL Touch? BL Touch is a little electromagnetic probe that shoots out a little plastic thing that touches the bed, retracts, touches, and you do bed mesh leveling with it. So it's like the passive touch, but instead of being affected by temperature, humidity, and a bunch of other factors, this one is a mechanical, physical bed level checker.
Yeah, as far as I know, the CR10 and then the 3 Pro are like almost the same.
So the answer there is that any BL Touch can work on any printer if you can figure out the pinout for the wiring, and don't get a knockoff fake BL Touch because they really are garbage. And all of the complaints about BL Touch is because you cheaped out on like $6 and got a fake one.
Yeah, and you obviously need to configure it in your firmware. So if you have a printer with a closed source firmware, you will have to replace the board and get an open source firmware on it.
Exactly, which you probably should do anyway because
Yeah.
you're shit.
Most of the time, yeah.
The pin to probe. No, that's completely different. What that the Prusa uses. They came up with their own little probing method, which is just like just a little micro switch, with a little plastic thing that rotates out.
No, it's an induction sensor on the
Oh,
process.
the induction, yeah. And then the induction, the problem with that is that, let's say you swap that out for a new
Glass
print
bed.
surface. Sure, a glass bed, a textured bed, a magnetic plastic kind of bed. You know, you always have to readjust. And maybe it doesn't even pick up the bed. You have a thick glass sheet on it, and it doesn't pick up the metal before just digging into it.
Yeah.
So the BL Touch is really nice because it's physically touching the bed. So no matter what you stick on it, including if you actually screw up and left an old print, like at least some pieces of an old print or something, it will detect that there's something, you know, sticking up on the bed, and it will adjust for it. And you'll be printing, and the thing will go along, and it will move right up and over some piece of crap that you've left on there.
Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely ruins the print and stuff, but it won't drag the nozzle through it.
I used that once. I had a print fail, and at a certain height, and then I resliced it, commented out the bed leveling, and then the BL Touch would probe in the center of my bed for C or Z, and it touched exactly on top of the existing print.
Yeah, fantastic.
Took this as 0 and printed on top.
That's
But
funny.
Wow,
that does not
nice.
always work. Yeah.
No, it doesn't sound like a special use case, but
Yeah.
you know, just put
Got
a
lucky.
sheet of paper on it
Hmm.
and have it probe there, and then you could just adjust that by like 0.1 to bring it back down from the paper thickness. Yeah, it's a cool add-on, definitely worth it. Just as worth as having a better driver board, which is really the best upgrade you can do. Like, don't buy a whole new printer, just replace the controller board. Maybe replace the hot end with a good thermistor that actually works reliably.
I did actually change my mainboard. So now that when I got my Ender 3, I one day put the silencer board on. And now that I bought this BL Touch, which is version 3.1, it came with a 5-pin cable, and I wanted to put it on my silencer board, but the silencer board is version 1.1.5, so it did not have the 5-pin connector. So I got the latest main board, which is 4.2.7 or something. So now I got 2 main boards laying around for nothing. So if anyone ever needs one, I still have 2 around, like the stock one and the first silencer board. They're both pretty good. I think I should build a second printer at this point.
A second printer is always useful.
True.
If something on your first printer breaks or something like that.
Imagine having the parts printed for the second printer with the one printer with the Ender 3.
That is how I built my first. Okay, it's my second printer, but my first printer was a RepRap Mendel, which I bought as a kit from the UK from Adrian Breuer, the inventor of RepRap. Yeah, and that printer was good, but I wanted something different. Core XY was the new shit back then, and so I designed the printer, printed most of the parts, and built the printer. So yeah,
That's nice.
pretty well. Yeah, and with the leftovers from the old printer, I built a little CNC machine.
Wow, that's nice.
mostly for PCB engraving, milling.
Cool.
Is that on the last keyboard you made?
The last keyboard I made. The last one was
Probably
for my deck. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this plate was milled on this CNC mill.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
nice.
Wait, you have a white keyboard set there? I don't think I've seen that.
This was one of my first big videos on my channel.
Is that the one where you laser engraved the keycaps?
Yeah. These are still the first engraved.
Oh, damn,
keycaps.
that's that
You
one.
can see some faded away a bit, so like K and L, but most of them stick pretty well.
That's nice.
Is
Yeah.
the coloring, is that was that actually from like the color of it burning from the laser?
No, I have a video on my channel on that.
I know
I dipped it into toner from a laser
Right,
printer.
and then you centered that on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Tatütata.
Tatütata.
They're very loud.
Yeah, they're very
Feel
loud.
free to keep talking when you do
They
those.
and they will do Tatütata all night. We had them yesterday at 4 a.m.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, because I'm living across the street of the hospital,
Ah,
It's
the biggest one in Munich.
I mean, it's probably a good idea too, because that balcony looks like it's ready to go any minute.
yeah.
Yeah, I got some aluminum extrusions now, so you can barely see them.
You black one?
Like 2020 ones.
Is this black or silver?
Yeah, black.
Yeah, his.
Where did you buy that?
underway.
Amazon. Like you paid. I got 4 of these for 20 euros, something like 22, 23, something like that.
Yeah. I mostly buy my extrusion at Motedis in Germany. They are
Okay.
damn cheap. So like $5 per meter or $3 per meter, depends on.
These are 30 meters with.
Yeah. Yeah,
$5?
but they
Nice.
only have silver and not the V rail style.
Huh, that's nice though.
Yeah, if you don't need it for actually building a Core XY or something.
Yeah. I built a workbench with those, and yeah.
Not too bad. Huh. Someone wants a link to your channel.
Oh. Yeah, I should probably do a video.
Do you have any videos coming up?
I had. I worked on something, and the project itself worked great, but I lost some of the footage, technical difficulties. Then I reshot parts of it, and I was not happy, and then I decided to scrap it, do another project, and come back to this when I feel like it. But yeah.
Yeah, that that's fun.
YouTube is not my thing. Not enough time for this. But okay, I'll spoiler the project here. No one is watching anyways. But I did this. These are calipers with a 1.5 farad capacitor. On the bottom, I have. You can't see this. There are 2 points where I can put it onto a charger. It's charged after 10 seconds and lasts for 3 days.
Well, that's
And-
excellent.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you of course need more than just a cap. You also need a LDO to step it down to 1.5 volt, but it's pretty easy. Maybe I'll do a video on this once I feel like it.
Absolutely should.
Yeah, I should. I know. I want it. Yeah. Other than that, Currently, I have some of these switches.
Nice. What are these?
What switch is that?
Futaba MJ something. You get these. I was scrolling through a German electronic
Pollen?
Pollen. Yes.
Yeah,
And they were 12 cents per piece, so
Wow, that's cheap. Yeah, I've
but
from
they are weird.
I sorry. I have a VFD from Futaba.
Mm.
I also got this on Pollen for like
Yeah.
not even €1.
Was that the Samsungs?
Yeah, the Samsung was also from Pollen.
Yeah, I have two more there. They came with the same package as these switches. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I still have to build my keyboard.
Yeah, if you use the VFD, let me know. Then I don't have to do all the work myself.
Yeah, I'm taking one of them with me, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to make it. I'm just going to have it light up with zeros, and I'm going to make that the like YouTube view counter.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to stick a 6 on it, and then leave it like that.
Yeah.
Because we can always have something.
Yeah, but the Futaba switches are a bit weird. They are clicky, but they click more on the upstroke than on the downstroke. And yeah,
Huh, that's
Has to
strange.
click on the upstroke.
Well, those actually
Yeah.
from a mechanical keyboard. I couldn't quite see them.
yeah, these look like this. They have a inverse cherry mount, if you want to say so, and they actually.
What keycaps would you use with that? I mean,
I will print some, or cast some, or something like this. But they work on these proto PCBs.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
that's
Still have for my deck. I'm kind of planning on building the mouse with a track point from Lenovo.
Yeah.
Like one of these things that you cannot see at all. Like, it's yeah, like these track points.
careful. Get
I know
demonetized.
these.
It's not a nipple.
He shows nipples.
Oh,
It'll see-
a nipple in cyberspace.
those
Yeah.
switches you got there. I mean, they actually look pretty fat. You don't even need keycaps on it. You can just type right on them.
That could pretty much work, I think. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
I saw that you had a trackball there.
Yeah, I also have a. Yeah, it's transparent. Crazy shit. No, it's it's a Logitech trackball. You get these on AliExpress for $4 or something like that, and it's
What's the-
just a PS2 cable.
Is it?
Nice.
Have you checked it yet to see if it works when you convert it over to USB, like USB 1.1?
I used for this. I used a. Let me see.
Is that a smart adapter or a converter?
I used that adapter.
Smart adapter on it. Okay.
I don't know how smart it is, but it is. Yeah.
It's got a chip in there somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
It's $4. See, I was planning on getting one from Adafruit. They've got a module looks very similar to that, and it's meant to be panel mounted. And then it's just got the leads on it for switches. So I was going to use mechanical
Yep.
for it. But it's like $60, and it doesn't really look any nicer than that.
Yeah, the Adafruit stuff is great, but always a bit expensive.
Yeah, and if I'm going to order that, well, then I got to order like $600 worth of other stuff to make the $70 shipping worth it.
Yeah.
Costs $70 shipping in the US. Within the US.
Well, when you get $600 worth of stuff, it does.
Okay, I see.
I do the same thing every time I order from like Mouse or DigiKey. I'm like, well, I'm not going to order like 3 resistors for and have $7 worth of shipping. So
Right, so you got
there's a box of stuff I'll never use.
Yeah.
at least 10 more things to make it worth the shipping, and then the shipping goes up a little. So you got raising it up until you like it goes up again. Then you like take one thing out, and yeah, I think we all
Shipping equilibrium.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, same with Pollen though. I actually bought the like two of every VFD I got from the site
Yeah.
twice because so it kind of makes more sense to buy stuff there for shipping with 6 euros.
Yeah.
So
I only buy at Pollen if I have a coupon. They send out €5 coupons or free shipping for $30, I think, all the time. So I don't buy at Pollen if I don't really have a coupon.
that's nice.
Yeah,
Maybe we should get one of
actually,
these.
while we're thinking about though, could you shoot me a link over for that Logitech?
Yeah, I'm currently on having a look at my.
That might be exactly what I need.
Oh, sorry, it's not $4. It's $2.60. Where do you want to have it? Discord.
I should get one of these.
Yeah, Discord's
like,
good.
2 of these key switches that you got, like the Fukaba ones, because I still want to use the track point, but I also need a left and a right mouse key.
Or just
It's
use on it, you know.
3 USD.
I mean, I still have two blow cherries around, but these look nice.
Well, anything short of $50, it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah. I don't know how big the Adafruit one is. Anyways.
I think it's about 1.5 inch ball or something. It's pretty
Okay.
tiny.
This is a pretty small ball, so if I take that out, this.
Which would be even better because
Where are my calipers?
kind of limited space with what I'm working with.
The ball is 19 millimeters or 0.75 inch.
Yeah, that could do it. That could be just what I need. Because the one they have, it's a bit larger, but the whole casing of it's very tall, which kind of takes up the maximum height I have, so nothing's going to be able to fit under it.
Hmm.
That's just going to be like dead space, you know?
Yeah. Posted it into the way of topic.
Cool.
Discord.
So what do you got, Lydia? I know earlier you said you had some work being done on the farm.
Yep. I went to go set up a whole bunch of automatic nutrient mixing stuff and realized I didn't have half the connectors and hoses I needed. All those I had were the wrong size for the pumps I had, and I didn't have the proper connectors to actually connect the water supply. So I have a Home Depot run tomorrow morning.
You had to have that handyman come over, lay some pipe, and
Oh, because our last contractor completely screwed up the door, of all things. It was like you had to yank it open and slam it closed, and Daniel was just like, I'm not putting up with this. I'm not having a garbage door after all the money we put into this. I'm not calling that guy. Screw him. We're getting somebody else. Come in and fix this damn door.
Do you have a goose? That's funny. That's a funny comment, though.
Goose.
You have a goose? You could have picked up one at the park.
you know, we were at the park yesterday, and a goose comes flying over, and it actually brushed across my hair.
Almost
like
hit
this.
the drone.
Like, are you drunk? You know, like
the drone like 1 meter next to it.
Yeah. Maybe revenge for a drone attack or something like that.
For the record, I do not have a goose. But the other night we were out having a bonfire with our dog, who, you know, the mighty hunter is sitting there staring at the road because there's activity over there, and then a deer kind of wanders past, and then a fox goes past. The dog doesn't see any of them. Good job, Cricket.
Yeah.
You're the worst dog I've ever had and the best dog ever.
maybe she's like, all right, you're good, you're cool. You know, maybe he just didn't care.
Well, he's weird. He's an English pointer, and like he goes outside and like in the house he's just an absolute couch potato. He's like the squishiest, laziest dog I've ever had. But then outside, like he wants to kill things. He like the hunter comes out in him, And yet he's sitting there looking the other way as a deer and a fox go past. Completely misses them.
What kind of fox? A red fox or a gray fox?
It looked like a red fox. It was dark, but it's probably a red fox. They're pretty common around here.
So the nutrient feeders you set up, those were on the ESP boards you've been working on?
Mm-hmm. Everything's ESP 8266s. I bought some ESP 32s because they have a better pulse width modulation. They have like hardware pulse width modulation, while the ESP 8266s have software pulse width modulation.
Yeah.
And, I read people going back and forth about how, that can be affected during network transmission and stuff. But, I was worried that controlling the lights, it would cause a problem. But at the end of the day, I'm using it just for controlling the lights and doing nothing else. So it really does basically zero once they're set. And I saw zero difference. And ESP 8266s are just, $4 a pop.
Yeah.
I'm buying bags.
And they're available. I mean, the 32s are kind of rare right now. The price is going up. And...
Oh, really? Jeez, I haven't even looked. I'm glad. They're so convenient. I have so many of them at this point. I ran out of them the other day, and I was like, well, I have plenty of, test units I can go scavenge them off of, but I'm just going to buy more. And I bought only one more bag. I'm like, I should have bought two. I just keep building these things. They're so convenient. I'm actually starting to worry that my /24 network space isn't going to be enough. 256 IPs? I might run out.
What's the current count up to now?
I haven't looked, but it's climbing fast. And that's, I'm starting to worry about network congestion just because it's so much, Wi-Fi in one small area. It's kind of becoming a problem. I'm, hoping once I run a hard line out there and I move the router out of the attic, I'll get better Wi-Fi signal and it will be less of a problem. But starting to think to myself, geez, I should maybe break this up a little. I have so many of those devices. I'm trying to combine them. I just recently built actually this little. It's going to be very hard to see.
Black box.
A black box.
It is a black box
right now.
Let me adjust my
Yep.
video for a moment.
Got a question here. Separate driver for each motor. On an RC car, you usually just have one really big motor that runs the rear wheels. If it's a four-wheel drive, then you have axles and a transmission. So it would be weird to have multiple drivers for multiple motors because you only have one motor on it.
Yeah, it's a car, not a drone.
On a car, you can go either way. You can have individual drivers for each arm going out to each motor, or you can have an all-in-one board that has 4 drivers or 6 or 8 all in one, or you can have the flight controller and the drivers built into one board. Just kind of depends what you want. On a car, you could possibly have 2 motors on it, and
Like a tank.
yeah, like a tank, exactly. And you would definitely have 2 drivers because you need to spin them at different speeds. For a car, you probably would want just one big fat motor and one big driver for it. What are you working on making? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Lydia, return to reality.
Trying to.
Let's see what you got there. Doing the solo layout.
So this is just 4 relays.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this backwards. Add an ESP just to control various devices.
Cool.
Nice.
And I just keep building stuff like this. It's just every day I'm printing boxes and building things. I have so many boxes. Like this long one here, which is actually an ESP with an isolation board, and this one I believe is the EC board from Atlas Scientific for an EC sensor.
For isolation, is it an opto isolation?
You know, I didn't look into it. I just got the Atlas Scientific carrier board that went with their stuff, I probably could
There's
have.
a relay
you know.
board you might like that I use myself. It's well, I just get it on Amazon. I think it's like $7. It's got 2 relays on board and an opto oscillator. You can get it also in 4, 6, or 8. So it's optically isolated, so there's no electrical signal. So if you are switching mains current, mains voltage, you don't have to worry about that jumping across to whatever your microcontroller is, or to your fingers.
Yeah, I was looking at a bunch of those at one point, and I might buy one. There was one with like 8 relays on it, and I'm like, I'm probably going to need that at some point. But for the moment, I just had a bunch of relays kicking around, so I was like, all right, let me just string these all together and, quickly CAD up a box for them, print that out, and start throwing stuff together.
Omega Road asking how long these streams usually last. Anywhere from 0 minutes to however long until the internet dies. These things have gone as long as what our VertCon was about 7 hours.
Yeah.
Some of these streams have gone like 3.5 hours for the weekly streams. Tonight, we might probably go for an hour and a half, maybe hour. Looks like we're almost up to an hour now
I
already.
think that too.
Yeah. When we go over 3 hours, that's really a pain in the ass because then you can no longer cut and adjust things on YouTube. They don't let you.
What? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like the ending. When you hit in broadcast on here, there's just like 10 seconds of dead air where you're just kind of like staring at the screen, waiting for it to stop so you can scratch and whatever. And sometimes it just doesn't stop. So if you're over 3 hours, you can't cut that later. So at least on the replay, no one can see the awkward pause at the end. Yeah, so this is how the sausage is made, folks.
It's incredibly unglamorous.
It is.
Gotta get into streaming.
The question about the car, so it's an Omni track. Luigi, you have those Omni wheels that you...
Yeah, I have 4x4.
Yeah, so you definitely would have one motor driver for each wheel because it's an Omni track, so you have to mix all 4 channels individually. So yeah, that'd be pretty standard. You have a lot of options to go for there. Just, find out what your max current is and then maybe go give yourself like a 20-30% overhead, or if the price doesn't really matter too much, go double the capacity. So if a wheel stalls out, you're maybe burning the motor up and not the driver itself, or put a smaller driver and burn up the driver and not the motor, whichever one's cheaper for you. You're going to lose something. Get spares, get extras, especially if you buy something that you think might be out of stock in a week. Everything's out of stock. Everything's out of stock. There's a hit for you. If you're ordering RC parts right now, it'll say out of stock. Put in the back order because this is how they're running it. Nothing is in stock. You back order it, and then when they get a couple in a week or two, then they go straight to you. And no one's really bothering to put things as listed as in stock anymore. 'Cause why? When you've got like 100 back orders waiting, who even bothers anymore?
What's gotten things so backed up? Seems crazy.
There's a lot of opinions and thoughts on it. I think it's most likely because of what happened with Hong Kong and China, and Hong Kong the distribution hub for just about everything. And then you have Taiwan, who makes the chips for just about everything, and they're flexing their muscle because of what China is currently doing to them as well. They stop the supply, the demand keeps going up. Everyone's going to just get mad at China until they finally back off, or World War Z, here we come.
You can actually build a car that's like going sideways. They did that with like forklifts that go sideways.
I've seen those. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome. The OmniTrack forklifts, those are awesome.
Oh yeah. You use these Mecanum wheels. I actually printed some.
You can print those?
Yeah.
Wait.
I printed some.
I mean, you can, but should you?
More or less. It kind of works. I haven't tried using these on something that drives.
Did not James Bruton do a video on that?
Yeah,
Let me see.
here you go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, these actually roll pretty good. You just need a smooth rod instead of the screw.
Yep.
So that it can roll a little smoother. But
Yeah.
I think they would still work pretty well.
Yeah, maybe I should print the. I mean, you have like this one big wheel, and then you have small wheels on them. On this one big wheel. And maybe you should just go.
Yeah, the Omnitracks are they're a
print
trip.
this with something softer, so it goes better.
We were
on
just
the road.
looking at the DJI, whatever that
Tank
is,
thing.
the tank thing. Yeah, I don't know who it's for, what the purpose is, but like it's got an infrared cannon on it, so you could play with your friends with what? Who's gonna have two of these? They're like $1,000. Who's gonna have two in the same room?
Maybe they're only 500 euros.
Right, so it's like $1,000. Who's gonna ever have two in the same room so they can have a battle with this robot tank Omni thing? It's very cool looking though, but I think I'd rather fly a drone than drive a whatever the thing is. I don't know if you can program on it if it's like an open platform. It's DJI, so I would guess it's not open at all. I could see making a copy of one. Yeah, make an open source version. Yeah. Hey, we still have 6 viewers. We haven't dropped any. That's a record.
Way too many. We have got to do
I know.
something.
So you guys believe like you're making us nervous. People are actually watching.
Yeah, it's probably just Russian bots.
Bots.
German bots.
German secret police checking up on you.
Yeah, I already had a conversation with them a couple weeks ago. It was not me they were looking for.
But you were suspicious enough for them to question. Yes.
Yes. That was, hey, they already knew everything. They already knew who I was, where I came from, where I was going. It's like, why are you even asking me? Like, you already know. You just came up and like, you just told me everything. So even if I was lying, like you just told me everything, I could just repeat what you said. You told me my name, you told me the location, everything is like, all right. Where's the question, guys?
Walking away. Shit, I screwed up the question again. I
Like,
totally
oh,
the question
damn it. I
and
did
tell
it
the
again.
answers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I was a little bit sketched at first. I was like, this badge looks like something you get from those coin machines that squishes a penny.
They had badges?
It didn't fit the badge wallet he had it in, so it slid around when he opened it. It kind of almost slid out. I was like, is this real? It was smaller than a normal one, so it's just like, it looks like a coin that like is squished out. Like, it looked like a €2 coin that had been flattened.
They had actual badges?
Oh yeah. He pulled the badge out right away. He's like, "Secret police, you have to give me your passport." I was like, "Okay."
You were in the airport, right?
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
live streaming with a few people too while it was happening. I was like, "Okay, give me a second." I'm just gonna keep this live stream going, so there's documentation.
When is your flight going?
It's 7 a.m.
It's going fucking early, so I'm not gonna even sleep tonight. I'm just gonna get on the S-Bahn sometime in a few hours, and I'll sleep on the plane to England, and then I'll sleep on the plane to Houston, and then I'll sleep on the back to my hometown.
That's the best way. Like, if you can sleep on the plane as much as possible,
You know
it's
what?
the best way.
I've never been able to sleep on them so easily as I have on this last trip. Like, I was just out, and I snore really loud, so I can only imagine like 6 rows of the plane are just like, who is this? Like, just like fall asleep like 10 minutes after getting on the plane. It's fantastic. Slept for a solid like 8-9 hours on the way over here. It was great. I had all these plans to like listen to music, play video games, all this stuff. No, just to sleep the whole time.
Yeah, last time I was on a
Could be
plane, I
worse.
thought I'd play my Switch way more, but I just totally didn't. I either slept or watched movies, and that's what I saw in the most recent Star Wars movies. I forget which one, but it was so bad I wanted to walk out. Somewhere over the Pacific at the time.
Yeah, I recently dug out my Switch again after they released Skyward Sword HD a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
Because
Don't listen to Fee. Never talk to Fee.
she sounds like some auto-tuned gibberish. That's just what she is. Auto-tuned gibberish.
She's terrible.
Yep.
My husband's a huge fan of Zelda, and played the original one on the Wii, and in some ways it's a great game, and in some ways Skyward Sword is it's both one of the best Zeldas and one of the worst Zeldas
Because
at the
of the
same
motion
time.
control, right?
Because
Because of the motion control.
Not because of the motion control, because of just the way the worlds are constrained, and because of Fee spoils like every puzzle before you get to it. They fixed that a little in the re-release, but he bought the remaster, has been playing through it, and literally every time Fee talks, he just looks away from the screen, mashes the button. He's like, so much better. Like this is not how the game was supposed to be.
Yeah, I kind of like that you have like the two control modes where you can either have the motion control with the Joy-Con or just have button control for on the go, or if you're kind of tired of this motion control thing, so you could just switch to button control. It's way much better when you have
Yeah.
the right joystick move like you're supposed to swing the controller.
I thought the motion control was actually a really good idea. I just think that the Wii couldn't do it well enough. It was clunky and unreliable on the Wii. I haven't tried it on the Switch, but I feel like the Joy-Cons would probably be more reliable. Might actually be good.
Yeah, it depends. I have not played the Wii version, so I cannot judge at this point. But the motion control of the Joy-Con, yeah, depends. I mean, you have to slash some monsters like sideways or in a 45-degree angle, and sometimes it's just not going the way you want it to. It's not precise enough.
Yeah, it's the Wii version was like that, but probably way worse even.
The infrared setup for the Wii Mote was just garbage. You had the wrong light on in the room and nothing would aim right. The motion itself was just so blocky. I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of Nintendo fanboys everywhere in the world, but let's all admit
You
it
have one right
sucked.
next to you.
It sucked. It was terrible. The only thing worse than that was
Your real name is not Luigi?
the PS. The only thing worse was the PS3 motion controllers that they had. Those things were absolutely terrible, just unplayable.
Want to hear a fun fact?
I forgot that it even had motion control, but that's
Yeah.
right. They came out with these
They
things
had
that were basically
the
like
webcam.
Wiimote knockoffs, and then I never heard about them again.
And they also had the webcam motion capture that would just do motion capture of you moving your arms and stuff. That was terrible. But then they also had the Wiimote shit, and that was terrible.
PSI or something? EYE, like eyeball? Jeez, I remember those cameras at one point, because you could take the IR filter out really easily. Became really popular. I think I have a few somewhere in a box because I used them and took out the IR filter for building like IR touch stuff back in the day. Way back before like capacitive touch became a thing.
Yeah, they were pretty good at hacking. I actually have one in a drawer right now for a future project that's been sitting in a drawer for years.
I use a old Wii controller because they basically had a a camera, and there was a software you could use where you put your Wii controller on a tripod, aim it at your monitor, calibrate it, and then you need an infrared pointing device, whatever, an LED, and then you could draw on your normal monitor.
That's
Oh,
it.
I remember that actually. I played with that too years ago. Many years ago, I worked at this company that did we did in kiosks and interactive advertisement stuff, and we played around with a bunch of that technology. We ended up building one of those, really hacky prototype just to what can we do with this? This is such a good idea.
The best use ever for the Wii remote was that it had the IMU in it, the gyro, and that thing got hacked into some of the first flight controllers for the quadcopter.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
That's what got that thing going, because everyone was trying to build them, and up until that point, the flight controllers were just terrible and they were just unflyable. It was just a massive board, just tons of electronics, big heavy themes, short flight times. It was arguably terrible, but it worked, and that led the way to these modern day toys that you can get for $20 that actually fly decently.
I had no idea. Wow. You know what? I always was
for a lot
disappointed that
of things that were not related to playing video games.
You know what? I was always disappointed nobody did anything with. There was a guy who did some stuff with the Wii back in the day where you took the Wiimote and pointed it at you and used the camera, and then you put some IR LEDs on onto a pair of glasses, and it did head tracking. And it was spectacular head tracking, and then you map that into the software, and suddenly your TV follows your head, and you get this spectacular 3D effect because it follows your head movements. So you actually get depth of field. It was amazing, and I expected somebody to do something with it, but it just sort of went nowhere. I've never heard of anybody doing anything with it again, and it's actually a brilliant idea, which could totally be done today.
They used head tracking on a bunch of the early VR head goggles and
with IR LEDs and stuff.
The lighthouse, was it the lighthouse modules that have the infrared modules on it?
Yep.
That's for full VR, though. I don't know. Something about having it be in the TV, because then the TV becomes like this portal into another world that suddenly has depth of field, which I thought was a great idea, because a lot of people are turned off by the idea of wearing a full headset and having a screen, 1 inch from their eyeballs. But turning your TV into a 3D view of another world is kind of amazing.
I had something like that, and the skin over Windows made it so you could peek around the corner and see you had folders stacked up, and you could peek around to see under to reach another folder. Mostly it was just annoying, really, because imagine you have to move your mouse and move your head to find what you're looking for.
Oh man.
And it just used a standard webcam. There was no special head tracking required at all. It was just a webcam, and it just moved. Your head's a pretty big target that you can track moving back and forth with just some pretty simple, machine vision.
Yeah, if you got a laptop camera, you're sitting in front of your PC like that, the head tracking works pretty good just from a...
Now, whatever happened to the eye tracking? The VR systems with the actual retinal tracking to see where you're looking in the screen to bring focus to that point.
Oh yeah, that was in every movie in the late 2000s.
Yeah, and it was in some devices too. That went away pretty quick.
There's so many good technologies that just don't seem to go anywhere, and sometimes I don't understand why.
Because you don't share how it's done. You come up with this thing, and then your product fails, but you don't just go hey, here's how we did it, and enjoy, someone else make it. No,
yeah, make it open source because your business is over. Just open source it and walk.
Your technology company gets bought because you own a Class C IP range, and then everything else you made just gets buried in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah, you're totally right. That's depressing now. So many good ideas just like in a box somewhere that nobody cares about.
You know what? I used to work for a company that bought out another company, and I don't remember the exact product it was that they were selling that they had invented, but it was something like that. And it was something that I was familiar with, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. You're buying this company that owns this like really cool piece of tech. And it's like, no, not really. We're just buying the rights to use their IP range. And it's like, oh, you're kidding. Like you're not gonna buy the one cool thing that you could potentially like open source or just like give out to the world. No, you just want some IP addresses from a defunct tech company.
Maybe Fitbit did the same with Pebble.
Uh,
I don't know. I mean, Pebble smartwatches got bought.
nah, I think they wanted to get rid of this competition.
Yeah, nothing is comparable to a Pebble. Like this thing will last at least a week.
I had the first one. A week?
First one,
More than
maybe
a week.
yeah, maybe 2 weeks. The first one, maybe 2 weeks. I had the first one. I had the Pebble 2 HR, measure your heart rate and track your sleep. And then I had the Pebble Time Steel. They're all pretty nice.
Yeah.
But Pebble 2 HR died on me. Unfortunately, I want them back.
Yeah. I had the old Pebble, but not from Kickstarter. When my father had to go to the States for some business, I told him, "Hey, bring back a Pebble," and you could buy these in the shop back then. And yeah, nowadays I have a Amazfit, Bip, and this lasts a month mostly.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've got the Sony smartwatch and their more recent one. I have their old one too, but they both have a transflective display. It has a mirror behind the LCD, so the brighter the light is outside, the easier it is to actually see the image that's on it. And the funny thing is that because of this, it doesn't turn on the backlight when you're outside, so your battery lasts seemingly forever. Well, the battery's always dead when I go to use it because I never think to charge it because it's just, it lasts for like a week or two. And then when you actually go to use it again, you're like, ah, damn, it's dead because I haven't charged this thing in weeks. But still, the smartwatches, they're kind of cool. I mean, I hate it for any of the smartwatch features. I just like it as a daylight readable watch that I can, like load music onto and connect Bluetooth headphones to directly.
Yeah, I think I like the Pebble because I could control my music with it. That is the feature that I'm mostly missing on this Amazfit. But I like it for notifications, so I know if I have to take off my smartphone or not.
Yeah, you know what? I've got one of the first Samsung smartwatches, and someone actually released a full version of Android like 4.2 for it. So the thing was just a complete Android device. It just did everything built in, and it had a camera built in as well. This is back before they removed the cameras due to privacy concerns, because no one's going to notice you with a massive, bulky watch trying to sneak a photo. A low resolution, like 0.9 megapixel photo.
Tell that to the watch.
It's like, oh, could you repeat that again for me? Right? But it was a cool device. It was like I put Minecraft on it and like a bunch of different games, and they were just barely playable. But the fact that I could install it on there and on this tiny little 1-inch screen or just play Doom on it or whatever. I mean, you can play Doom on anything, really.
Most things.
True though. And Raspberry Pi Zero may run even Doom, like the good old Doom 3D.
Yeah, Pi Zero should do that, but Pico maybe not. I don't know. Did someone test the picos? Oh, transparent again.
I like the transparent ones. They're better than those ugly green ones.
Yeah, true.
Especially
I haven't tried the Pico yet. I don't know. It's very low powered, and if I was going to use something super low powered like that, as much as I like Python and Circuit Python is appealing, I mean, I just use an ESP. Also, I have bags of them. Like I'm practically buying them by the
Isn't
bucket.
that kind of the
so-
point of the Pico though? Is it's got like 50 times the processing power as the ESPs?
Yeah.
What's the CPU again?
one that-
On Cortex. I don't know. What was it?
I mean, honestly, I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with 80 megahertz on an ESP, let alone like an ESP32, which has like 260 megahertz. What the hell am I going to do with that on such a small little device?
What could you possibly do with 64 megabytes of RAM? 16 is enough.
That's right. Hey, we went to the moon on way less. Why do we need like 5 gigs
We
for an
went to
instant
the
messaging
moon on-
program? Come on. We went to the moon on 64K.
But that was magnetic storage that was like hand woven by seamstresses that were hired by NASA to create the memory.
That's right. And if they hadn't done that, they would have had issues with bits being knocked out by alpha particles, which they didn't know at the time. But thank goodness their memory was like literally hand woven copper.
Yeah.
It's the only reason they didn't have massive memory corruption problems as soon as they got out of the atmosphere.
Yeah, I actually got to hold one of those modules at a museum.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
That's super cool.
It's like it was like looking at how a modern, like SD card is made, like getting to see the, like the 5 nanometer structures, but blown up in supersize. Basically the same grid, same thing, just. I mean,
Huge, yeah.
those sheets were like, this big each, and then you had stacks of them into these big cartridge units, and then each one was, the storage. It's like, here's what I don't get: how did they survive the G forces pulling on it, like rattling it around? Because those things, those earthly rockets weren't exactly a smooth ride. And they explained it during the tour, but it's like, yeah, but we're talking about taking something and just like shaking it like this. Imagine doing this to your like Nintendo console for 3 minutes, and they expect it to still survive.
Well, Nintendo's actually are pretty resilient, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like, generally electronics don't take to being, shaken horribly.
Especially when they're made out of like copper wire that's like thinner than a human hair with really heavy magnets sewn into it.
It's amazing that we managed that with the technology at the time. I mean, it was tin cans and string, and they did it, and we can't even do it today. It's crazy.
Well, I think we can't.
I heard about it. Isn't it? You just have to go back to the studio and re-record the whole landing.
Well, it was so expensive for the effects back in the day that they found it was cheaper just to actually go there and film on location.
Exactly. About it, you can only have so much cheese. We don't need to go back.
Yeah.
No, we can have more cheese.
More cheese is always an option. But I think I'm gonna leave you guys and girls. It's late enough, and
the beer ran out.
The beer ran out. Yeah,
Ran out a while.
actually half an hour ago. I think these bottles are too small.
Need the 1 liter bottles.
Yeah, I don't know if you have any.
They have these
beer
pitcher
bottles.
bottles.
Huh?
They have the pitcher bottles, like the big ones.
Yeah, or a Faxe.
Oh yeah, Faxe, like the 1 liter.
A can of 1 liter.
The thing is with the 1 liter cans, if you're drinking them not fast enough,
Yeah,
the second half will taste like crap.
yeah.
Germany is the land of good beer. I wish I was there.
Faxe is definitely beer.
Well, thanks for joining us again, Max. And
Sarah,
Thanks for having me.
next time. Later.
It's a pleasure. Have a
Bye.
great flight. Great evening, night, day.
Thanks,
whatever.
Max.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And now there were
Einfach ein
three.
ganzes Fass Bier.
Oh, and look, we lost 2 viewers right there with Max.
Well,
He was one of the viewers.
Wait, do we count as viewers? Oh, jeez.
I hope not, because that means there's only one person watching. The one person needs to leave so we can start talking shit about everybody.
so Omega Rogue LP seems to be German as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because his beard has ran out too. That's how you know.
Yeah, but he drank a whole barrel.
Ja, also German? Is Omega also German?
He said yeah, so yeah, he's German.
Wow, there's a lot of people from Germany in the chat. I didn't realize.
So there's a thing on Reddit recently, or like a few weeks ago, where people actually posted things more like complaining, like if you mention Germans, they will show up in your comments. No. Boot's sitting next to me in Germany, and now the Germans take over the stream.
At least someone's watching.
Yep.
We were asked earlier if this was going to be the last episode because we gave it a little bit of a clickbait title and stop tapping. The answer is no. This is just the last episode in Munich. it was, technical difficulties in Munich, the last episode. It just depends how you read things.
Well, it would have been the last episode if we didn't have difficulties, but as usual, we had technical difficulties.
Exactly.
So until everything runs smoothly, we have to keep having them.
It's never going to happen.
Exactly.
Well, that was it would have been pretty hard to do the stream if you had caught your apartment on fire.
Yep.
At least
Well, you could have you could have been on your phone out front, showing the fire in the background.
I mean, it's a short trip to the hospital. It's across the street, so we could have made it at least.
Also, if
Very safe place to
fire,
live.
I've just thrown through that thing.
I just found out who the one viewer is. I just got texted by her.
What?
That's funny.
Who is it?
Darth Kitten from the Discord.
Huh.
And
else we have
Zach.
Zach.
Well, okay, Zach doesn't count though. He's like an honorary guest. He just never joins us.
You should though.
It's like you ever watch Jimmy Kimmel? And it's like sorry to Matt Damon for bumping him tonight.
Yeah.
Like sorry Zach couldn't join us tonight. Maybe next time.
You should just start saying that every episode.
Starting tonight. What?
Special guest,
Zach-
Zach Freeman. Sorry you couldn't be. We had to bump him.
Up the Weed Whacker line so I can 3D print with it. Nice. I've actually done the opposite. Nylon 3D printing filament is really good in the Weed Whacker. It lasts way longer than the crap you get at Home Depot. And it's the only thing I can use Tallman nylon filament for because it's terrible to print with. I literally have 2 kilos of it that I can't use for anything. And so Weed Whacker line. And I've been doing this for years now. It holds up much longer. And instead of snapping, it frays at the end. It's great.
Yeah, well then it's
Therefore-
that's weeds just fine.
Except for it is much stronger, and when it does break off and whacks you in the leg, it hurts like a bitch. It's much, much harder when it hits you than the stuff you get from Home Depot.
Huh. What's a weed whacker though?
What's your name for like shrubs you want to get rid of? Like things that grow without you planting them?
Huh.
Like tall
Unkraut.
grass.
Unkraut.
All right. And what do you do with it? Like, do you use a sai and like you like swing the thing and like cut it, or do you use like a thing that spins with a motor to?
Yeah, skies are like kind of
Like the
not
whole,
a thing anymore.
right?
So yeah,
So
we
the
kinda
modern
use
version
this-
of that.
the motorized version.
So that's a weed whacker, because weeds
These things
are just things that grow that you don't want, or though not recently, you know.
Yep.
That's changed a lot.
Yeah, this is a pretty German Richter.
May have some expertise in that department.
Unkrautvernichter. Perfect German word. Like, if Felix were around, he would probably ask me to pronounce it extra angry. Like, Unkrautvernichter.
Zach's saying to to dry it out and use it, but I have other nylons that print beautifully, and I love printing with nylon. The Tallman is just it's pure nylon, like it's unadulterated, and it needs some adultery in it in its life, you know. It's pure nylon, and if you can tune it and make it print, good for you. But I've bought a new spool every like 6 months or so when I've gotten better printing, and I've never gotten a single one to work. So infinite supply of weed whacker filament. Even like my dad, he was like, "Hey, do you have any weed whacker filament?" I was like, "As a matter of fact, I do."
Weed whacker filament.
Right?
Fantastic.
And I have seen people try and print with the stuff you get from the, from the store, but it's kind of the same problem. It's like it's not really made for it, and it's of course saturated in moisture, so you really have to dry it out for a long time to even try and print with it. But then the price, it's cheaper. It is actually cheaper to buy a kilogram of Tallman nylon than to go buy a kilogram from Home Depot. So there you go. Pro tip. It's good for something. Zach actually was just doing some printing with, I think he was printing with Peak plastic, and I was trying to watch it, but my data was cutting out, and we were at the beer garden. I never did get to see the result of that. I've always wanted to print with that stuff, but it's so hot that you're basically melting your printer trying to print with it.
I missed that live stream. I wanted to see that. His last filament episode was really good. There was a filament, I can't remember what it's called, something with an H. And it was like, his reaction to it was that it was like the filament that why do more people not know about this? It's like fantastic. And I was thinking to myself, I need to buy a spool of that just to try it out. And I never got around to it.
Well, if Zach's done whacking the weeds, maybe he can mention it later. We'll have to remember to ask him. It starts with an H. What?
So
I can't think of a single filament that starts with an H.
it was some obscure thing that I'd never heard anybody else talk about that he was thrilled with, and basically printed well, had good heat resistance, like kind of like hit way more corners than triangle than it should be allowed.
HSA. The stuff that's like ABS, but not quite.
Maybe?
Yeah, that's got to be it. That's the only one I can think of. It's basically
I gotta rewatch that video now and find out what it is.
it's basically ABS, but it's UV resistant, and the rest is more or less the same. Hips, yeah, maybe it was hips. Hey, Zach's back in the comments. Yeah, what do you think? Maybe HSA or hips? I actually did get some hips and was printing with it. The only thing I didn't like was it's got kind of a funky smell, and I need to set up the vent again to print with it. Cool material though, like very flexible, seems rather stretchy. Like you can stretch it a lot, and then it just kind of like suddenly snaps. It's different. It's a bit interesting.
That kind of sounds like it. That might be the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, actually, Zach recommended trying that one for printing some like semi-flexible parts for things to protect parts of the drone. And TPU is just a pain to print with. So I was looking for something a little stiffer, but still flexible. Oh, and the bad jokes are rolling in.
That's a good one.
And our viewership has gone up one. It's amazing.
Really?
Who even watches this? Like, I don't watch it, you know?
I sometimes think about that too. The
What
fact
you
that we get a bunch of views after the fact, like people sit down and watch this.
I know.
It's not live.
I mean, that's great. I'm glad people watch it later, but if you get to watch it during, you get to make bad jokes and have them shown live.
Right, and interact with us.
Well,
But I don't know. I'm thrilled, but okay.
don't worry, we don't get that many views after either. One thing that's I think we're gonna have to change though is Sunday late nights. It's really not the best times for us, especially not for player 2, because then he's up till 4 in the morning and then gets up to work at like 6 in the morning and 7. Yeah, and,
1 hour more or less.
You're not getting any younger, so can't keep that up forever.
True though.
Changing our time slot again.
I mean, you give the people what they want, and I don't know what they want, so we're just gonna.
Maybe we should just start some thing where we ask everyone like, what's the perfect time?
You mean like a
some
massive survey?
Yeah, a massive
that Paul
survey
put out 3 months ago.
Oh, was that one of the questions? I don't remember now.
I'm pretty sure that was one of the questions. Actually, we're going to do another one though, and just ask when people are available to watch. When would they actually like to watch and stuff. And
maybe join.
I don't actually care. It's just going to be whatever's convenient for us because we're the only time zones that matter.
Part of that problem is that we're all so spread out, though. It's hard to get a time zone that works for everybody.
That's true, but
That's true.
I don't sleep, so that part is easy.
I go to bed at 2 a.m. usually, so that's
right,
easy.
which is that's in 15 minutes or something. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll play with it a bit. We started out on Thursdays, and that was a good day. But with the year we shall not speak about. The weekend, the meaning of the weekend changed, and people were on at very different times. Sundays worked for a while, Thursdays worked, Mondays worked. I think we just we'll keep moving it around as we see fit, because who cares, It's all just for fun anyway.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll either find more people or stop caring. One or the other.
Eventually. I like your setup there, Lydia. I was trying to convince Luigi here to put up his old IMAX behind us for some graphics, but there wasn't really any furniture to put it on. The IKEA furniture got wet and fell apart, so.
That's what IKEA furniture is for. Very, very temporary structures.
I have to stand up now, so the COVID's gonna suddenly start spreading, So I found this wonderful piece. I actually was just looking for a bag to buy. I was at this little flea market, and I saw this cool looking old military bag, recognized it, some like military surplus looking thing. Haggled with the guy for a minute, bought it, spent, I don't know, $5 for it. And then it's like, man, this bag's lumpy. I wonder what's in here. And I open it up, and it's the full gas mask. And I actually found out that these were kind of like COVID masks back in the day. Every house had at least one. It was just in case of a gas attack. And it never actually happened. It was just a scare thing, scare tactic, and everyone bought one.
Yeah.
But so they're in
surplus. They're available everywhere, unused.
You like wipe that out, right?
Of course.
Okay.
And there is no cartridge on here because I don't want to breathe whatever was in that thing for who knows how long.
Space dose.
Asbestos, yes.
It actually looks like it's in pretty good condition from the pictures you shared.
It's alright.
It's not bad. I mean, the rubber's kind of
got
falling
some
apart.
crackles in the rubber.
You know, it doesn't smell bad, which is nice. You know, just a typical kind of rubbery smell, like any mask that was new. I think what I'm going to do though is I would really like the goggles of it, and I think I'm just going to cut off the lower portion and turn them into some like Viking goggles.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. Or maybe just go a step further and like stick the like glyph VR headset, you know, the FPV headset right on it.
Ooh, that'd be cool. Your modified glyph is coming along.
Oh, it's
You shared some updates with that. That looks nice.
Well, it's completely finished. It's done. I've flown with it. It's excellent.
Awesome.
That project is done, complete, and is now going to live on a shelf where it belongs.
You're not going to use it?
Check it off the list. No, I definitely will use it for short-range flights. The problem is when the signal gets too low, you get the blue screen of death. Instead of it just gracefully getting staticky, the composite HDMI converter just goes blue screen and you lose video. So the range on it is kind of limited because of that. Now, if I find a different converter that doesn't do blue screen and will just stay powered on, that would solve that problem. So until I find a different converter, it's only going to be good for short range flights. But it's also good for just, you know, just plug a Raspberry Pi into it, into the HDMI port, and you have a very awesome looking display. It also can do, it can display 3D because it's got two different displays for each eye, or, you know, one display for each eye. And it supports doing 3D over HDMI.
I had no idea. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, it has two separate displays. Why wouldn't it support that?
And it has head tracking built in.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It also has, well, it can use 3 different types of 3D over HDMI. So it can do like where each eye is just getting a different signal. It can do it where it just stretches, like where you just have like a side-by-side image where each one's a different image, and then it will automatically kind of put it through over each eye. Like YouTube has that feature built in. So you can watch like YouTube videos in 3D on this thing natively without having to, you know, mess with anything. It's got some cool features for sure, and those are available as soon as I solder the switches back on. I cannot enable any of those modes without the switches that I left out of it, but that's an easy fix. Just solder a couple wires. But yeah, it's got head tracking too, because this thing was originally made for the gimbal of a DJI drone, the old ones, and it had a USB port that came out of the controller and an HDMI that came out of the controller. And then you got head tracking, so you turn your head and the gimbal would follow along with you. And yeah, it was a cool device. And I mean, you know, again, it's like a DLP projector, semi-retinal projector thing for like $100-$120.
Technically two of them.
Technically two of them, right? And I mean, it's a cool one. I like it. I didn't bring it with me for flying again because I need to get a better converter for it. But still, very cool device. And that was a fun project. It was nice to wrap it up, get that one off my desk, and not have to worry about losing any parts on it anymore. You know, you have that project sitting on your desk for too long, and you start losing little pieces that you need. Yeah, so that was a nice one to wrap up.
I think I need to buy another one of these just to put in a shelf for something else later.
I already had it. Yeah.
120
I
bucks
already-
for something like this with two DLP
Although
projectors inside.
I might buy 5 of them before I actually release the project.
Yeah, right. Like, that's a good idea. Like, they're gonna run out at some point.
Like Zach did it with VFDs.
It's Zach's fault there's no VFDs available in America anymore.
Yeah, he's got like 5 of them.
I had to come all the way to Germany just to get one. It's ridiculous.
Do you get one while you were over there?
Yeah, I got two, so he got one of mine.
And you show me the listing, it's like you can buy these really cool ones.
Not
for-
even €2.
Yeah,
€1 and 75 cents. So that's around
in Germany.
$2.5. So that's nothing. I mean, you don't have the controller board for this, but
You don't have it in the US either when you buy them for, 30, 40 bucks.
and then
Yes.
that's a huge difference.
See, now people want links and then there's not going to be any left anymore. This really isn't that bad just wearing this thing. Like, it's a lot more comfortable than those fucking, like, little paper masks that just give you a face rash.
Yeah, that's why this is why I usually got this thing.
Like, at least I can see and I
Because
can
this
hear
is
and I
fucking
can talk
comfortable.
alright. And I don't feel like my face getting sweaty and uncomfortable.
Doesn't fog your glasses.
This thing does not fog my glasses.
I mean, these lenses are fogging, but then they're instantly clearing. They must actually have like a nice anti-fog coating on them. It's quite
my glasses
impressive.
won't get foggy with something like this. Like this big respirator just fits my nose perfectly.
I think I'm just gonna have to turn this into like a good cyberpunk mask.
There
You
you
know,
go.
get some like RGB LED that'll like kind of just leak out the sides, just kind of everywhere. And maybe just do like a single display, like the one that Zach built, where like you can't see it, but everyone else can see it, so they think you can see it. The fake HUD
You
display.
need some of this RGB strip for this.
Yeah, some RGB strip. That's a good idea. That'd be light. That'd be bright.
Yeah, you can turn this pretty bright. So yeah.
Oh, I've got meters of it. Many, many meters of it.
That's nice. So Omega Road wanted to have a link.
What?
I'm taking the job.
And you guys can understand me in this one. See, this is a great mask. Whoever designed this thing for Croatia back in the day, I hope you're still alive and watching. And thanks. Excellent.
Yeah, actually, you're despite being a bit muffled. Obviously, you've got a mask in your face, but you're pretty understandable. Player 2 was
Yeah,
absolutely unintelligible.
this thing's kind of vibrating while you're talking, so it's kind of do this
Hey, some people
specific
think
noise.
that's a feature.
But the thing is that I also have a German gas mask, and they had something that I should get, like something that you put on the vent where the air goes out. That actually lets you communicate via transmission. Like,
It's like a microphone thing.
yeah. I mean, I wanted to build this thing myself.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of similar to this.
It's this one here, right?
Yeah, it is. So yeah,
I'm
it's still
working on
some.
a little communicator.
It's still some funny circuit. Like, I have a speaker that I removed from some random. I don't even know where I got this from. Like some
looks cool.
telephone. It's just some speaker. Then I have the amplifier board. It's not too visible. It's just some rectangle. Then I got the
PCBs
microphone.
are just some rectangle.
Yeah, they are. Then I got a piezo element, like some buzzer, as a microphone. And to power the amp board, I have one of these cheap charging circuits where I will connect an 18650 battery to get something up to 4 volts in it. And the microphone's going to be on the mask somewhere just to pick up my voice while I'm talking, and it will actually not cause any audio feedback and pull out my voice over the big speaker in real time. Like,
Yeah, that's a cool one. I had something similar to that for my Mandalorian armor. When you have the mask on, you really cannot talk to people. Like, it's so muffled. So you just put on this little ear-mounted headset, little microphone on a little boom arm, and that just goes down to a speaker amplifier battery combo that you wear on your belt. That was just something I picked up off Amazon. That was kind of meant to be like a PA system, little portable PA system, something that like a tour guide would wear. And it actually works very, very well. But I never really used it for communicating in the mask because turns out I didn't really care about talking to people while I was wearing the costume. But it was great for playing music. It actually was like nice just having a little hardwired battery powered speaker that I could just plug my phone into while I was walking around the Comic-Con, get yelled at by security for having amplified music. But it worked very nicely, and it had a USB port for charging your phone.
I still
Which
have to
was
do
good.
some fine tuning with this though, because
Not
I tried
quite.
this, and if you scratch the buzzer, you can hear it over the speaker. But if you
You need
actually,
an electrolytic microphone and not use the piezo.
yeah, maybe. I mean, the piezo is like a contact mic, so it will just pick up the audio from anything that it's glued on. So yeah, might not work too well, and maybe I should get some other microphone to test out.
Yeah, an electric type. It's like the little capsule mics. The
Oh
little
yeah,
silver
I
capsules.
got some
Yeah.
of these laying around.
It's like this headset I'm wearing has one inside of this tiny little.
That's nice.
Yeah. I mean, they typically sound terrible, but it's what like every cell phone headset.
The
has
buzzer
one.
sounds terrible as well, though.
Yeah, the future keeps getting better. Audio quality keeps getting worse.
I that's why I hate phones.
Yeah, Lydia, wait until you watch the replay of this a little bit, and you'll hear yourself, and you'll be like, "Oh, I sound like a sick robot."
I'm sure I do. It's terrible. I'm
Although-
sorry. I lost my good lavalier, and I'm trying to make do with what I got.
But it fits with the the fact that you're being like sucked into your computer right now. You kind of sound halfway between like an alien and a dial-up modem.
This is the same microphone I use at work all the time.
Wow.
So
They-
I'm okay with that.
They must hate you.
Maybe it's the other way around. She hates them.
Hey, you know what? They provided it, so they wanted me to sound better. They should have provided a better microphone.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of I'm liking this mask. I'm just not sure what all I want to do to it. Like, do I just put a whole Raspberry Pi on it and just turn it into like the first ever gas mask punk
The wearable
deck?
deck that's wearable on the head and not on the wrist.
Wait, this could be the COVID wearable computer.
COVID wearable.
COVID safe wearable computer.
Oh, you gotta build the OLED or translucent OLED thing that Zach builds, like on one of the
Over both eyes. Why not?
over both eyes. Why not?
Although, the thing he made, if he had just put it on a like 8-inch extension, then you actually would have been able to see it focused in front of your face, and you would just have this 8-inch floppy thing in front of your face that you could really focus in on, get a good look at it.
Very practical. Everyone would love that.
I mean, it's not less practical than wearing the Google Glass or any of these other wearables. And plus, it's transparent, and the arm it's on could be like some spring steel, real thin wire. You know, you'd barely notice it. You ever see the bicycle helmets that have the mirror out in the front?
Oh yeah, totally.
It's out that far so you can focus on it. You know, like same idea, same thing. Maybe bicyclists would like a transparent display so that they could get some info while they're riding, and you know, make it a functional transparent display.
Just connect it to Google to just have your route if you're trying to hit up some specific location on the map.
You know, speaking of wearables, does anyone remember Jarvis? And like, you know, from like Iron Man, that
Oh
one.
yeah.
Okay, but do you remember the search? It was Jarvis, the search. I think it was Jarvis. It was the other search engine that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah. It was called Jarvis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jake? No. Yeah, Jarvis, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was Jarvis. And then Sony was going to make a earpiece that had that built into it. The whole idea was that why have a display when the thing can just talk to you and you can just talk to it, you know, like Alexa. But it was all going to be self-contained in the earpiece, do all the voice processing there, and then use your phone as just a data connection. Ask Jeeves, that's what it was, not Jarvis. Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves, you're right.
And Sony
Wow.
was going to make
Jeeves.
a headset called, I think it was the Jarvis for that one. But it was like that same idea. It was, or like the Wolfram AI thing, you know, ask it more complex questions and actually get answers that make sense. You know, like a personal butler. I mean, Siri is garbage. Alexa is a piece of shit. And
If she heard you, she will actually tell you not to touch
I
shit.
was actually thinking, I hope it hears me, so
Yeah.
that like someday in the future it murders you. You know, when the world.
Someday in the future it will murder us all. Don't worry.
No, that's that wonderful that question that someone posed that like triggers everybody is like, if in the future there's an AI, you know, in the future there's gonna be like an AI system that takes over. Everyone that opposed its creation, it's going to be like a vengeful AI. Everyone that opposed it, it's going to just kill them all, right?
Roku's
And-
Basilisk you're talking about.
Exactly. And if you help create it, then it will spare you. But if you didn't help create it, it never would have existed in the first place.
Right.
So do you help create the thing that will potentially kill everybody, but maybe spare you? Or do you oppose it and then definitely get killed if it ever gets created? So do you help create the monster, or do you oppose it? And yeah.
I think it was actually a step further in that it would actually be able to torture you for your opposition to its existence. Which,
But I mean, I don't think it's all that scary an idea. I won't be alive by then. That's like next person's problem.
And if you are,
yeah, if we make it that long.
not for long.
But I don't know. You look at all the stuff that Google's doing, that everyone's doing right now. Boston Dynamics, which Alphabet owns. What's the end goal here? Replace humans? Like, are we just obsolete now?
I mean, that does seem to be the whole end goal, is to like build a better human, just so that we can like literally obsolete ourselves. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess we're the placenta for AI. Okay.
They still hadn't made one of these Boston Dynamics human-like robots build one other. Like, they kind of have to reproduce somehow.
Yeah, but I mean, why bother building a body if you can just be like a mainframe somewhere that's connected to most computers on the entire planet?
Bodies are useful. You can do things in the physical world. And NASA's been working on that, because they've been working on the whole idea of sending something to another planet that builds robots to do things on the planet.
I mean,
So, I mean, replicating robots are on the way.
Just imagine the hipster robots in the future. They're like go retro and they start like building themselves flesh bodies.
I've got real skin on me. Yeah, check this
Yeah.
out. It's the
Yeah,
best.
they go to the point where
It's like the anti-cybernetics.
it's like the Bicentennial Man, where the Pinocchio robot wants to become a real boy.
The flesh-onetics. The flesh-onetics.
If you haven't seen Bicentennial Man, it's definitely one of Robin Williams' top 20 movies.
Really? I heard it was good. I never did get around to seeing it, though.
It's amazingly good, and it's another one of those that kind of gets it right in a lot of ways, predicting what the future is going to look like. And when it was made, to be fair, a lot of what was in it seemed really high tech, and now it's like stuff you have in your your scale at home or your like smartwatch or
That's always interesting when you go back to an old movie and they actually got like a bunch of future stuff right, and at the time everybody was like, "That's corny," and then like real life turns out like that.
yeah, like the movie Idiocracy.
Best documentary ever.
It gets better every year.
It gets more accurate every year.
I know.
It's a precognitive documentary.
Exactly. I mean, Starbucks,
Free latte with full release. God, that movie. I'm sorry, it's so
I
funny.
rewatch it once every year just because it's interesting to see it become real and also very depressing.
See, that's why I haven't rewatched it that much, because it is depressing.
Bye,
Later, Omega.
See ya.
Later, Omega.
Yeah, it is pretty fun. I actually just rewatched it about a month ago, and yeah, it's just what the best part is that I actually like forget a lot of what's in it every time, and you see more things, little details in the background. It is a bit ridiculous. One of the more recent things I noticed, or just even really thought about, was everybody wearing sportswear, all the sports clothing, but they're fat and just like not working out.
Yeah,
It's
that's fantastic.
Sitting around wearing the sportswear because it's stretchy, not because it keeps you dry while you're working out.
My favorite part about that whole movie is how Mike Judd went to a ton of people and was like, "I'm Mike Judd. I did King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead and Office Space. I'm going to do this new movie. It's going to be great. Let me use your corporate logo, so it'll be a great opportunity for you." And they're all like, "Sure." And then next thing you know, it's like that's what he does with it.
Oh, they pulled out. They pulled the funding, and that movie almost didn't happen. He had to go beg all of his friends in the industry to just like do the special effects for him for free.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie, the budget for that movie is like 1/10 what was actually spent to make it.
Yeah.
Costco was especially upset.
It's ridiculous. Well, it's because all the corporations tried to go back on it because, well, he was making fun of them, and they didn't like that.
Yeah, and look at how that backfired. Yeah.
Best satire of everything that's wrong with them
And
ever.
just think about it. If the movie had gone through successfully, all the funding, everything worked, it probably would have been terrible because it would have happened the original way it was written. Instead, all of those companies pissed him off and he made it much worse. Like if you
Oh, totally.
like I'm sure Starbucks was more than just a place to get hand jobs in the first draft.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that's what makes a cult classic a cult classic.
Yeah, is when you have some technical difficulties and you figure it out.
The loss of money often makes a movie so much better. The first Deadpool movie was like that, where they were supposed to have this huge budget to do a bunch of stuff, and like they were supposed to have this huge end fight scene with all the CGI and all this crap, and they lost a ton of their money and everything, and their budget got slashed. So the end of the movie ended up, like that whole scene where he packs all his guns and then they all drive away. He leaves it in the cab, and it drives off without him. Instead of having the big fight scene, they had that happen, and it was a million times better. It was so much funnier. Like, movies that get their budget slashed sometimes are the best.
Look at what happened with the Batman and Superman movie. Infinite budget, garbage movie.
Oh, completely stupid the whole way through.
Yeah.
Everything about it was dumb.
You take like two of the best comics, the best series, and the animated movies are so good, and then it's like, here's $300 million, make me a piece of crap. But then look at like the recent one, the recut, the Snyder cut, where like it's awesome. Like that is a good movie. I mean, it's a bit long at like 3+ hours, but it's awesome. I mean, they reshot most of the movie and they reused all the footage that got cut, and it's not even the same film. The only problem really was they kept the Wonder Woman character in it, and that, you know, the acting was just subpar on that.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen either of those because I just heard it was so bad, and then the Snyder cut. I heard it was good, but I haven't seen it yet. Oh, you guys locked up.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
We are on Ethernet. So cool.
Drink.
Drink.
The shit is empty.
It popped up like saying like your Wi-Fi like signal is low. It's like we're not even on Wi-Fi. Is that your beer carton?
That was. I mean, I had more beer in the fridge, but that's what that was. That's the last one of that.
Some to Zach or Max.
Actually, but that now's a good time though to wrap it up. We're about 2 hours. It's 2 a.m, and I've got to go fly for the next like 2 days in a couple hours.
All right. Good luck. You know, navigating airports and being in sky buses.
Yes,
Sky bus.
it'll be an okay trip. I've been to all these airports before,
Also, you got some good video games now,
and I got some good video games thanks to Player 2. So
like Mega Man.
Excellent.
loaded up with all the classics.
A lot of Metroid games, like Super
Yes,
Metroid.
Metroid is amazing.
Yes. One of
Yeah,
my
see if I
favorite
can
game
maybe
series of
actually
all
beat
time.
it this time around.
Yeah, maybe you're going to beat Metroid Zero Mission. That's done in 5 hours. If you're fast.
If I'm fast.
Took me like 5:30, and I never played this game before. Like, never played through the game before. Played this one last year. Took me
Maybe the flight will be like super turbulent, so it'll just add to the reality, you know.
Then you might play Metroid Fusion though, because there you have like a clone of yourself chasing you.
Well, thanks for joining again, everyone. Still watching? Why? Why are you still watching? I mean,
Why would anyone watch this? I don't know. But thank
I
you.
don't know. But thanks for hanging out with us, and we will very possibly see you next week. Good night.
Good night.
Adios.
And now for the 10